Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our webinar today. We are delighted to have Keith Sayre and Savannah Dill, who are part of our Power Platform team. Keith and Savannah will be presenting on Answer Finance and Sales Questions with Innovia's Power BI Report Pack. And as a reminder, we are recording this webinar and we will post it to our on-demand webinar library for you to review again or share with anyone. You can find our library under our Resources tab on our website at innovia.com. And we encourage you to ask questions during our presentation, so feel free to type them into the questions box and we will get them answered during our Q&A time at the end of our session. So now I will turn it over to Keith and Savannah to kick off our presentation.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us for today's webinar. Today, we're talking about how to answer your most crucial finance and sales questions with Innovia's Power BI Report Pack. So my name is Keith Sayre. I'm the Power Platform team lead here at Innovia Consulting. And I'm also joined by Savannah Dill, who's a Power Platform consultant on our team. So I'll let her introduce herself.
Hello, as Keith said, I'm Savannah Dill. I am Power Platform consultant here at Innovia, so I tend to work with all things Power Apps, Power BI, Power Automate, and Power Virtual Agents.
Thanks, Savannah. And thanks for everyone for joining us today. We're going to start out by just kind of talking a little bit about what is Power BI, just to get us a framework from where we're going to start. And then we'll be talking about the specific stuff that you came to see and demoing some of those capabilities that are within the report pack that we offer here at Innovia Consulting. So let's start though by talking about what is Power BI. And in a very quick sense, it is a business intelligence platform. That's actually what the BI and Power BI stands for. And business intelligence is all about connecting the systems, processing the data, and putting it all together from everything that you do and forming a complete nuanced picture of what your business is doing and the metrics that matter to you. So Power BI is a business intelligence tool that's from Microsoft that can help you see the data and draw insights from it. You can compile data from many different sources. As long as they have some kind of key field between them, basically, they can be connected up and analyzed together. Some of the big ones out there are Excel sheets. You can just pull in an Excel sheet that you've been using. You can have an Azure database, SQL databases, Microsoft Dynamics Business Central, Dynamics Nav, several of the leading CRM platforms out there, including Dynamics 365, SharePoint, several different ticketing service software, Google Analytics, project management tools, all kinds of things out there. And if you can't find what you're looking for through a connector that's already been created, you do have the option to create a custom connector. So those are really handy to connect to really anything that you have out there that uses an API connection that you want to bring the data into Power BI. That's how you would do that. And that really opens up all the other things that are not already part of what you can get with just the default services. One of the other really big advantages of Power BI is there's a massive community out there of data analysts and designers. There's YouTube channels, user groups. The Dynamics user group has a forum specifically for Power Platform. So many of you are participating with that. So you can check out that forum as well. Yeah, there's tons of people out there who are all trying really cool things and having a bunch of success with Power BI. So if there's any question you ever need to ask, there's probably someone out there with an answer for you or willing to take a look with you. So next we're going to talk about more specifically what we're going to be talking about today, and that's the Innovia Finance and Sales Report Pack. So what this is it's one of two different offerings that the Power Platform team at Innovia Consulting has constructed that are basically pre-configured groups of reports and a dashboard that work with Business Central SaaS, essentially right out of the box. They include reports that cover revenue, gross margin, budgets, and a lot more. So in our finance pack, we'll be taking a look through all of that is available with this particular pack. And so you can decide if that's something that's interesting to you. And what's cool is, we can connect that quickly up to an existing SaaS database and get you rolling fast. They also work really nicely as templates if you'd like to add additional reporting features that are not already included. So that's an option as well. And we'll talk a little bit about that at the end.
All right. And then just kind of going into how this helps your business. With the big key thing is it helps you quickly find the most important sales and finance KPIs, and it can highlight anomalies to help you respond more quickly and visualize data in interesting and insightful ways. These reports were created to be a tool, a bit of a non-traditional tool that can enable you to make on-the-fly business decisions and gives you a deep dive of what is happening across multiple financial pillars.
All right, and with that, we'll be moving into the demonstration port. So we're going to pull up a copy of the report pack that's hooked up to a demo database, and I'll let Savannah get started here with our first section.
Thanks, Keith. Could you please start with the purchasing and inventory page?
Certainly.
Thank you. All right, so this purchasing and inventory report has multiple pages through it, and the first one is, of course, the purchasing page. This page displays purchasing statistics by a selected date range and vendor. The matrix table you see in the middle of the page allows you to expand by vendor and see which document numbers are associated with the purchase. And then the graph below compares purchases to sales over time. And by right-clicking on a vendor, this is a really cool feature with Power BI. You can select drill through to see the sales history and information based on the selected vendor. And going back to that, hovering over the location icon on the map brings revenue and purchases based on that location. So overall, it's a very cool page that breaks down your purchases. The second page on this report is the inventory page. And this page displays inventory movement and cost by item during a selected time period, as well as item ledger entries. Inventory change displays item movement over the selected time period, which you can adjust based on the slicer in the upper left-hand corner. Nearly all the visualizations on this page start at the item category level and can be expanded down into the item level using the drill down function once again. Kind of going a bit into this drill through. If you don't know, many pages have the option to drill through. This is usually presented as a button, but can also be adjusted using the right click method that we have shown. And this is used when a specific entity is selected to help you dive deeper and learn more by further exploring that data. For example, you might select a sales order on a chart and drill through to see specific specific lines on that sales order. Information about the customer or other financial information such as payment or amount and sales rep information. You will also notice on both of these pages, you will see different visualizations such as the donut chart or cards representing your big all-up numbers. All right, and that will pretty much wrap up that page. If you wanted to go to the shipping and purchases page, Keith.
Hmm.
All right, just like the purchasing report, this also has 2 pages. There's on-time shipping and purchase orders. These are a bit more sliceable, if you will. The first, which is on-time shipping, this page displays your on-time shipments by location and item and can be filtered by date range or item category and even description, as you see on the left. The on-time target percent visual allows you to set a goal or target percentage for how many shipments are made on time. And the on-time percentage gauge will then adjust to the target value accordingly. And then on the other page, the purchase orders page, this page is very similar and has many slicers for you to play with. This page shows purchase orders and their on-time arrival statistics by vendor and item. The matrix you see in the upper middle can be expanded to see which orders and items came from who and how often they have been late or on time based on the selected date range. I would also like to note on any of these pages, you can click on different visuals to kind of narrow it down. Not all of these are the best example of that, but as Keith is doing, you can kind of see how the data moves depending on what he clicked on. And to revert, you can either click, you can just click back on it. All right, and that'll be it for the shipping and purchases and purchasing and inventory pages.
Thanks, Savannah. Let's head up to the top of the page and we'll show you kind of some of these reports near the top as well. So the first one up here is called the Company Performance Report, and it's within what we call the Sales and COGS. So that's sort of everything that relates to your finances, your income, your revenue, your cost of goods sold, margin, that kind of thing. So this first page is really all of that. It really intends to be sort of a stopping point or a starting point to see where your business is at. So you can get all up numbers like your net revenue at the current time, your budgeted net revenue, the percentage change, the gross margin and percentage gross margin, and all of that kind of things. Then you can change the date range where this information is showing to whatever you're interested in looking at the present moment. You can also, if you have multiple different budgets, you can decide whether you would like to include one or more or all of them and do them as part of your budget calculations. Over here we have, I think these are fairly interesting graphs because they give you 2 different ways to understand where you're at with your revenue and your margin. So the first one is going to show your actuals versus budget. So you can tell, in this case, the budgeted net revenue is considerably higher than what the actual revenue is for that period. That's the orange versus the blue. However, if we go down here and we look at, for instance, up here, we can start seeing year-over-year comparisons. The reason you don't see them here is because I just don't have any data there. But at this point, I've been tracking data long enough that I now have year-over-year metrics to work with. So now I can compare not just to my budget, I can compare to what we did last year. So in this case, this company here had a net revenue of $429,000 in February of 2021, and the previous year they had 892, 837. So a bit of a down decrease year over year is what that's showing you. So that's kind of a cool way to do it. So as you start accumulating data, these become even more interesting. And of course, just like with everything else, you can click on it and see what's going on for that particular thing everywhere else. We can click a specific customer and see what their specific costs and revenue are. And we can do all those kind of comparisons with this quickly and easily. We also have an account balances sheet. The idea here is for you to get a quick snapshot of where your different GL accounts are sitting at the current moment. So we've got them up here by category that can be broken down. We can go down to a lower level. It's very cool. You can click this drill down button. And then as you click like assets, you can do that. You can click into inventory, and then you have all the different things within those categories. So very cool, very nice way to sort of structure all this data and make it interesting and understandable for you. We can also apply any filters we want. I should say that this side of the page is actually responsive to this. So this is all about your accounts over here. And then this right side of the page is all about the entries, the individual entries that are applied to the accounts. What's cool is if we want to look at a specific account, we can click it over here, and all the entries are now filtered to specifically that account. So that's one of the cool things, again, with the Power BI click and filter across the page functionality. We can also apply, we've got a few different slicers up here. You can do general business groups. We can do document types. We can choose to only see invoices, that kind of thing. We can decide to only look at entries within a certain posting date range, or only entries within a certain amount of a dollar amount. So all kinds of drill through and sort of honing in on different data that's important to you. So as you're analyzing your accounts, you can see what's going into that on the other side. Sales performance is going to break down your revenue performance by your salespeople, so you can get a handle on what that's like. You can see we've got several different salespeople. They've got a distribution of the revenue here, and you can see how that has shifted over time with this ribbon chart. So that's a really cool feature to see. You know, okay, so maybe this salesperson has been a real big carrying the day, and they have a highest amount overall. But starting here, this other John Roberts here in orange has really kind of taken over. So that kind of gives you a little more nuance to your data. Down here, we break down the revenue by the count by the type. So that we're classifying that there by the GL account types. And then we also have it classified by item. Both cases, we're showing you revenue year over year. So you can see if there's a discrepancy between what's going on in the period that you've selected and that same period in the previous year. So that's really cool. At this point, I want to point out something that's you've probably seen it on every page so far, but it's something that we've added to this to make it easier for the user to navigate and understand what they're looking at. And that's this little icon up here. So when we click it, it pulls up a help text that really explains what this page is intending to show you. So if you ever forget, or if you need a reference, or you're not sure where something's coming from, that's one way you can do that on the page, is to click the question mark and see the help text. There's a few other pages I'll go through fairly rapidly. This is more of a ability to see, again, the data broken down to a specific chunk. In this case, it can be either by a salesperson or a specific customer. So we can go and grab a specific customer from our list. And now we've got all kinds of interesting data about that customer, including, our commissions and margins and our costs over time, and including what that salesperson has done in this case. Top 10 accounts, I really like because it lets you see at a glance how much of your revenue is really focused on the top customers in your portfolio. So then that helps you to kind of prioritize, hey, which customers should we really be focused on getting more business with? Which ones should we be maybe visiting, talking to more, all that kind of stuff. So you can get an idea at a glance, the impact of those top customers on your company. This page is really all about sales. So if you're using, this is really for all those people that are using the relationship management tools within Business Central itself, as opposed to an outside CRM. This is all connected up to those components. So if you're using them, they will populate in here and you'll be able to see your pipeline status at a glance, including the proportions of opportunities, the average days that opportunities are open within your system, how many opportunities you have, and a quick look at the entire pipeline. You can also filter it by something like the sales cycle code. So if you have different sales cycles for different customers, you can visualize that here as well. Now on to accounts receivable. And this is one that a lot of people like to see because it really gives you a sense of what's going on with your accounts receivable in a quick and easy way. So the as of date at the top is really nice because you can change it to show you values based on a specific date. And that's that first date in the column. And then what it does is it will calculate how many of your invoices out there are currently open but not due yet, and then those that are open and also late now, and how late they are. So you can see, in this case, a large proportion of the receivables is in the overdue category by 28 plus days. Over here, we can start to see that listed out in kind of like a matrix view. Again, as Savannah was talking about, we've got these drill through features that let you now see that specific customer and everything about them within your system. And then why not go even further down to the individual invoice? Now we can get the invoice lines, see what's going on there, when it's due, payment terms, all those kind of things. So there's a lot here that you can drill into and really understand what's going on. You can even click a group here, and now you can see all the invoices, the due dates, the days remaining, and everything like that within a category. On the flip side, this is for customers that have already paid your invoices, but it's to kind of give it's almost like a report card to see, how many of them are paying within certain timeframes. In this case, I've got a lot of customers that are paying me right on time, which makes sense. We do have a few that are paying early, but as we accumulate more data, we will start to see, if a customer is 30 days late, it'll pop on here and say that amount was within 30 days late. And you can start to see, which customers are performing better as far as payments. You can take a look at the individual invoices and see what the amounts are within each bracket and really start to understand what's going on there. And finally, we have a sales budget analysis page. And what this is all about is trying to say, what's our budget? Where are we at? How are we doing with it? And all those kind of questions that are related to your business. So we can choose a specific year or a specific quarter or anything like that. We can choose which budget. Again, if you have multiple budgets, this allows you to quickly change between them. And then it just gives you some metrics by it. So we got the revenue versus net revenue over each month. What's cool about this is it's a date column, which lets you go up and down the scale. So as you can see, now I'm down to a specific, this is a month view. The view where we were at before was actually a quarter. But I can go up and down the scale. We can even do days if we wanted to, although that would be kind of difficult to read for this type of data. So yeah, if you're looking at quarters, you can look at quarters. If you're looking at months, you can look at months. Very cool, and it's just easy to go right up and down the list. We can go all the way up to years if we wanted, if we had multiple years selected. Over here, this is kind of an interesting idea that came to us, and we said, can we figure this one out? So the idea here is to compare what you would expect to get from your customers versus what's actually coming on. Because in many cases, people don't necessarily budget a specific amount per customer, but perhaps they budget a specific amount of overall sales. So to get an idea of what you're expecting from your customers, what we've done here is we've got the 2021 year selected. So the expected budget contribution is actually using the actuals from 2020 and then proportionally applying those based on our budget. So based on 2021 performance, you would expect 37% of your business to come from Spotsmeyer. You would expect 23% to come from the Canon Group. However, in reality, what's occurred so far within your time period is the Canon Group is 43% of your revenue and Spotsmeyer is 42%. So you can see it's quite different than what's going on here. So the question you might ask in this point is, okay, so what are all these other ones that were a larger proportion of my budget? You know, Progressive, what happened to them? Can we get them back in the fold and start selling to them? Those are kind of the questions that this raises for you as you're looking at this kind of data. Same concept, but on this page, it's all about the items. So did we sell the same amount of particular items year over year? Were we expecting to sell more based on last year? So what's cool here is we can go down a level and we can see our different item levels. So as you can see, most things we've done with items, we start at a category level and let you drill into it. So in this case, we can do that to that category. And it gives us the specific item name and perhaps put that one as well. So now, so with this, now we can tell, okay, so we've got, and we need to drill into it as well here. So as you can see with this, in the previous year, you know, walnuts, you know, the allocation was about 54%. This year, we've only really sold bicycles, 99.79%. So the idea, what you need to be saying to the salespeople is saying, hey, what happened? Can we start selling these things? So that's really what this is intended to do, is to try to help you see where things don't quite add up and give you an idea for you know, action. Some ideas for what you could do to increase your revenue overall and meet your budget goals. And then up at the top of our page, we do have the dashboard. So if you're not familiar with Power BI, everything that we've looked at so far within Power BI is called a report within the system. And that is, we won't get into the super technicalities of it, but the quick way to understand the difference here is that a dashboard takes tiles from a wide range of reports. So what we're looking at is a selection of tiles from across all the reports we've looked at already. So this is almost like a home page for your report pack. It gives you quick access to see what some of these top level things are, what are things that are most important to us. And then what we can do is, if you see something interesting, you can click it and go to the actual report and get more information about it. So that's a really cool feature that is allowed to you in Power BI. So you can see that what we've done with how this has been set up is it's within the Power BI portal. So that is just that, you know, if you just go to powerbi.com and log in with a Microsoft account, you can access that. As long as your users all have the appropriate licensing with Microsoft, they can all access the reports that you've given them permission to see. And we have these things called apps as well that really package all of that together. So that's what we've been looking at, actually, is this finance report app. And so when you get this all together, if you choose to purchase this product from Innovia, what we will do is, you know, put this all together for you, create an app, let your users have access to it, and then they'll be able to see their data in the Power BI portal without really having to go into Business Central at all. So if there are people on your team who are not as familiar with how to navigate within Business Central, this is a great way to ensure that they get access to the metrics that are within it. And by the same token, it does a lot of calculations for you that are not there when you're just kind of looking at the simple numbers. So there's really something here for just about everybody who's working with a Business Central system. And we think it's a really helpful tool for that. So I hope you've really enjoyed having a look through all these report packs and what's included with them and how they work. So yeah, before we go though, I do want to pass things over to someone who has been in the trenches. Somebody who works with Business Central very closely. He's been working, as CFO. He understands a lot of what's going on here, and we wanted to ask him a few questions about how these report packs can really drive an impact for a real business. So I hope you'll enjoy that. We'll pop over to that quick interview, and then we'll come right back. All right, everyone, we're here today with Kevin Naughton. He works at Innovia Consulting as an application consultant. We wanted to bring him on to give us a little bit of a background on how companies can be using the data we've been talking about today in our finance dashboards from his perspective, and kind of share, how it can impact business operations for the better. So thanks for joining us, Kevin. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your experiences working with financial and sales data?
Sure. Thanks, Keith. I have a diverse background in roughly 20 years of all aspects of financial reporting and analysis. My history includes experience with a broad range of company sizes from 25 to 25,000 employees. I've been an FBA manager of a low margin manufacturing industry where financial reporting is crucial to maintain profitability. I've overseen businesses with cash flow concerns that need efficient spending. I've been involved with lean manufacturing, which is always the need and constant improvement in all areas that require the ability to review and understand in all aspects of the business.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, so we wanted to bring you on to see, from your perspective, so how does the kind of data that we're talking about today impact a business's operations? How does it change a business to see this stuff?
Sure. Well, financial reporting and analysis impacts the business in a vital way. Providing up-to-the-minute evaluations will ensure a complete image of a current environment and allow for future planning, growth, and sustainability across all aspects of a business. These flexible, fluid snapshots, they allow you to anticipate, learn, shift your projections to allow more powerful and informed financial decisions.
Awesome. So, so when we're thinking about the specific view that we're talking about here, these Power BI reports, how is this method of viewing business data different from maybe the way people have done it before?
Sure. Well, this method of viewing business data is different from traditional methods because instead of reviewing spreadsheets full of tables, numbers, this platform provides an interactive experience for all users. You don't need to have a statistics degree to understand, utilize, and apply this analysis.
That's awesome. And so what would you say, kind of looking at our report pack that we put together, what is the top benefit for a business from your perspective?
Yeah, absolutely. The top benefits of this reporting platform are that it's dynamic, it's interactive, it's easily acknowledged, it's easy to view, discuss with accuracy, in all departments. Users can understand and engage with this information, whether you're reviewing customer account performance with a sales rep or on-time shipping with a production manager. It's a dashboard that speaks for itself. It's ready to go out of the box, no setup needed, long explanations or lost time. Also it's live. It's up-to-the-minute information at your fingertips, online dashboard or as an app on your phone. And in today's changing environment, dynamic data is a necessity.
Right, for sure. Well, thanks, Kevin. Thanks for sharing your perspective with us today and how these reports can be effective, kind of on the ground. And any kind of closing thoughts before we go?
Thanks, Keith. I mean, I just love what you guys are doing with these tools and Power BI, and it's a really fantastic opportunity for any aspect of the business to really get in and understand what they're doing.
Right, sure. All right, thanks again, Kevin.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right. I hope that has helped really place how this fits into things for you as a business, as you're thinking about if this finance and sales report pack will be useful to you. I do want to mention too that if you like what you see and you want to do even more, we can definitely help you with that. You know, we built these reports and we can definitely increase what's included there for you and help you capture any metrics that are specific to your business that perhaps wouldn't be on a more broader type of product. As I said, these can make really nice templates to get started with building the reports that you need. And yeah, we're happy to talk through that with you and kind of help you envision what your reporting solution could be. There's also an optional branding package when you purchase this, so we can make the reports look like they belong to your company with your own color sets, logos, and that kind of thing. So definitely consider that if you want to maintain that look and feel. You can also find out more about Power BI, this particular set, our other sets, including the manufacturing set, and all the other things that we do with the Power Platform at innovia.com/Power Platform. So definitely check that out, see what's going on. We're constantly adding more stuff to it as we build out more products, as we work with more customers, as we discover more cool ways to make this awesome product work for you. So yeah, hope you'll have a look there and be in touch with us as we take a look at what we can do for you. So yeah, thanks again for joining us, and thanks Savannah for helping out with this presentation and being a part of this team. Yeah, at this point, we want to open it up to any questions that you may have, and we're happy to answer them.
All right. Well, thank you, Keith and Savannah, for the presentation today. And for everyone on our webinar, or if you're watching on demand, we thank you for taking the time out to join us. If anyone has any questions at this time, please feel free to type them into the questions box and we will get them answered. While we're waiting for any questions to come through, Keith or Savannah, do you have any closing thoughts that you would like to add?
Yeah, I mean, what's really cool about this is it really gives you a really good base to start from, and then kind of go from there based on what you're really interested in sharing for your business.
All right, thanks, Keith. We do have a question that came through. Do you have any examples of financial statements for reporting? For example, PL, BS, and CF?
Yes, so we do have some financial statement type of documents that we put together. They don't, I mean, they're not quite in the same way, but we do have it available in a document. What we've done with those is kind of built out that financial statement as an account schedule within Business Central, and then what you can do is pull it into Power BI from that account schedule based on the parameters that you've set up. And all those kind of things can then be displayed within a Power BI dashboard. So then you can, put it into columns and tables if that's kind of the format that you want to see it, or visualize it as well.
Okay, thank you. And we have another one. Do you have a way to make a bookings report to show us what sales orders have come in during a month, not necessarily shipped / invoiced?
That's a great question, and I think that the answer is yes. What we would do to build something like that is we would use it because you're saying that come in during a particular month. So what we would do is just change which date we're keying off of. In this case, based on the way you're describing it, I think that I would probably start with seeing if I can group things by the created on date rather than the shipping or posting date, like you're saying. But I think that if you if you just change which date you're grouping things by, it should be possible to create a report that does that.
All right, thank you, Keith. I think those are all the questions that we have for you today. If anybody has any additional ones, please feel free to reach out to Keith and his team or your account manager here at Innovia Consulting, and we would be more than happy to discuss those questions with you. And you can check out our website for more of our upcoming events, and that's innovia.com/events. You can also check out our training workshop page at innovia.com/workshops. The Power Platform team actually has a workshop coming up on February 23rd. So go look at that information and see if that's something that you would like to register for. And if you have not heard about our Innovia Conversation podcast by now, we have a library of podcast episodes for you to listen to. You can learn more on our podcast page, and that's innovia.com/podcast. Browse our selection and subscribe so you'll get notified when those new episodes air. And don't forget to check out our conference page, innovia.com/conferences. Our customer conference is coming up on May 4th and 5th. This is a free event for you to attend. So please make sure you read up on all the details and register today so you can come and meet the Innovia team, our ISVs, and clients. All right, well, we thank you again for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you soon at another Innovia webinar. Take care, everyone.
Thanks.